Got your back against the wall, no you know you never had a chance. Should've known better, now you better make other plans. There's no going back, gotta let you know in advance. This is Game's Squad.
What is up, YouTube? This is Henry Furchow, aka Dracobackpacksack22, aka Hank Saber from Saber Selections. My screen name has sort of changed over the last coming of years, but honestly, today we are on the best channel. That is the Team Avalanche. So huge shout out to Joe Grizz for giving me the upload. Yesterday I took Mermails to locals and I think I did pretty well. I went undefeated, and even though locals isn't that big of an accomplishment, it just shows how good this deck is and how versatile it is in the format, and I think it'll be even better next format because I'm sure that the decks that will be left after the ban list, probably decks like Magical Musketeers, it won't even have a chance against decks like this. Like, Mermails is such a good OTK deck, and with new cards that have just recently come out, it makes the deck even more explosive, and I think not a lot of people have tried it, which is why this deck hasn't seen any play, but I think that this deck is actually really under the radar right now, and I'm going to show you guys why I think that. So, without further ado, we'll get into the list pretty quick. There is one card in this deck that makes this deck completely different from other Mermail variants that we have seen in the past, and it just makes the deck building a lot easier and a lot more exploitable. So, with that said, let's get into the deck. So, to start off, we play 3 copies of Mermail Abyss Megalo. It is your combo-oriented card. It just blind OTKs people out of nowhere. People don't see it coming. It also just triggers your Dragoons or your Atlanteans really good. Same thing with Abyss Teus. Making this with Gun, you're getting your Mistar Boy. Pitching Megalo is really good. So, and of course it set up your Mooling Glacia play. So, 3 copies of that. 2 Gun, again, to bring these guys back. Really good card, especially with all the discard cards we're playing, like Magical Spring in the side deck. Really good card. So, to round out the Mermails, we play 1 copies of Mermail. Abyss Pike, a lot of times I would side out 1 Gun and 1 Pike. I don't play Abyss Sphere in this deck. With another card that we're playing, it doesn't combo well, so I wasn't playing multiple Abyss Pike in this deck. For the Atlanteans, I'm playing 3 copies of Net Abyss. The best card in the deck, of course, or I would say second best in my opinion. 2 copies of Dragoons, 2 copies of Heavy Infantry, and 1 Marksman. I would say that these Atlantean count, really good count right now. There's not a lot of back row, so I don't think more than 1 Marksman is needed, but one pro tip, I would never side out any of these. Like, I think you should just always keep the same amount of Atlanteans in your deck. Very important. You don't really want to change those ratios too much. I play 1 copy of Deep Sea Diva. You gotta be careful with this card. If it gets Ash, that's really bad, but you have to make good reads with this card. Hopefully baiting Ash before that. If not, it's an uphill battle. But if given the choice between something Net Abyss and something this, I would summon Net Abyss, just get this sure search off of a Dragoons. So, yeah. One of that, and then one of the best other cards in the deck is Mooling Glacia. I Mooling Glacia people so many times yesterday. I think I resolved it like 5 or 6 times, and with Mistar Boy, it makes it like you have Tatsunoko like all the time. I don't actually play Tatsunoko, but Mistar Boy is a similar card where you can just load up your graveyard with 5 waters very easily, and then you can manipulate it if you have more than 5 waters very easily with the Frog Engine, which I was playing. 3 Swap Frog and the 1 Rodent Totem. These cards just get you to totally awesome really quick and efficiently. And if Swap Frog gets Ash, you can always just bounce it back to the hand. So it's a very efficient way to make your best extra deck card. So I was playing the Toad Engine, and then for the hand trap cards, I was playing 3 copies of Gamma Seal. You never not want to see this card. It's always decent. Like, I was playing against a bunch of True Draco players, and I would evenly match them. They would leave the Masterpiece. I would proceed to Gamma Seal them, and that's game. Because having a 2200 beat stick against this deck is nothing. Like, you could just Heavy Infantry this, or attack over it. It's literally nothing. And the fact that it has synergy with Murray Greed is really good. And I would just maybe side out 1 at most, but you never not want to see this. It's always a really good card. And then we have 3 copies of Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. Another really good card. I was Ash Blossoming people all day yesterday. And of course, 1 Max C to round out the main monsters. And we play, for the spells, we play 2 copies of Mirror Greed. It doesn't really combo well with itself, because if you have more than 1 copy, it doesn't like, it's not a water monster, so you can't like use it for itself. But I play 2. I think it's really good for fixing bad hands. But like if you draw it with a good hand, then yeah, like you won't activate it, so it's like 1 less card in your hand that you could use. So that's why I don't play 3. So 2 of those. I play 1 Desires. I played Desires because I wanted to get actually over the 40 threshold. I know that goes against a lot of what Mermail players try to do with their decks. They try to leave it actually to 39 with Upstart. I actually wanted to go over 40 because I had a lot of bricks in my deck. Spiral Drone is a card. I didn't want to have them to have the opportunity to stack like a Rodent Toad on top of my deck. So I wanted to have a little bit more than 40 cards, and I think Desires is just his best spot for its slot, and it worked out pretty well. Not playing multiples is fine. So I played 1 Desires, 1 1-for-1, 1 Soul Charge. This card was amazing. I actually saw this card so many times yesterday, but I only resolved it a couple times because I didn't even need to activate this card. Like I would make a board with Abyss Megalo with the equip, and like Abyss Teus, me Starboy, like a very average field, and they couldn't even get over it. And I didn't even have to resolve this a couple times. And the times that I did, it won me the game. It's really good for manipulating your graveyard when you have Moon Glacia in your hand, or you're able to search Moon Glacia. Really good for that. Really good for making your Firewall plays. Just an overall broken card in this deck. I play some Field Wipes in Raigeki and Dark Hole, and then I play the Abyss Scale. I also drew the Abyss Scale a lot. I drew Soul Charge and Mizuchi together maybe like 3 or 4 times. I don't know how that happened, but obviously this card's a brick, but it can actually catch some players by surprise sometimes, just OTKing people out of nowhere and continuing with your plays, getting a spell negation. Pretty good, pretty good. And then to round out the deck, we have the best card in the deck, which is Evenly Matched. I think that this card actually changed Mermails a lot, and the reason why that is because you can now build your Mermail deck going first Mermail deck and choose to go second every time. And how that's different is because before you had to choose whether or not to build a going first Mermail deck or to build a going second Mermail deck. While now, you can always choose to go second, and you can either try to OTK with Abyss Megalo, which is also very easy, but if you draw Evenly Matched, you can evenly match them and then proceed to normal summon Prince and win. And it makes it so that you can make multiple Toads and just it's almost like you're going first in your main phase too, and it's just a lot easier and efficient to build your Mermail deck. And I think that this card is really, really good just because of the fact that even if you have a couple cards on the field, like I had a Dragoons on the field during my turn with Evenly Matched in my hand against a True Draco player. He had Ignis and a bunch of back row, including like a Skill Drain or something like that. And I attacked into the Ignis and then proceeded to evenly match him. And he left like, I don't know, a back row. I popped the back row and just won. It was easy. And like, I would never have gotten through that field without Evenly Matched. And it's just an MVP in this deck. I think it's very much needed in the main deck. And so that is it for the main. For the extra deck, I played 2 copies of Me Starboy, Mihoy Mihoy. It is very good. It's like the new Tatsunoko. It loads up your grave for Moon Glacia. It gives that 500 attack bonus. And when they destroy this, it doesn't even have to go to the graveyard because I got the effect off of Macro Cosmos on the field against the Metaphys player. And even when it's destroyed, banished, you still get the effect because it doesn't say it has to go to the graveyard. So yeah, Me Starboy is really good. Proxy Dragon, just for some firewall plays. Gaia Saber, the Lightning Shadow. Decode Talker. 2 copies of Firewall, Borreload. I don't really go into like multiple firewalls as a lot of other people do. A lot of other players will play the Link variant with a lot of other bad cards like the Nimble Monsters and like Aqua Spirit and like Silent Angler or whatever. Like I don't think those cards are good at all. Like it just really makes for a really inconsistent Mermail deck. I just make these when I Soul Charge or something like that, and I make Tomahawk. Honestly, the Borreload is probably more useful than the Firewalls, unless you have like a hand trap in your grave to recycle. But honestly, Playing a minimal links is probably the way to go. Very conservative deck. 2 totally awesome. Very good card, made it a lot. Bahamut Shark was important. And then, like, I want to go into the Dweller versus Bagooska argument real quick. Like, people are playing Bagooska just to out Spiral, and I think Dweller is literally just a better card against Spiral, because no matter what, like, the Spiral player can get over Bagooska just by calling the right card with Super Agent, and being that we're playing so many monsters in this deck, they're probably going to get it right. And so they're going to get over the Bagooska no matter what. And even with Dweller, you could just activate Dweller preemptively, and no matter what, they can't get the Master Plan Search off. So if they can't get the Master Plan Search off, they can't go to the full combos, and they can't get Sleeper unless they have multiple field spells. And so Dweller is probably the most efficient card to play in its slot, and of course it triggers Dragoons, and it's beefier, and it's just a better card in my opinion. For the 7s, I play 1 copy of Mermail Abyss YUGIOH. Abyss YUGIOH, honestly, is just as good as VFD in my opinion. True King of all Calamities is a great card, don't get me wrong, but playing Commander just to get a slightly better card is not the way to go. I think that Abyss YUGIOH with the equip is just a lot better. Metal Flare for when I go into like time, or when I get to my opponent down to like 800 life points or so. They have 2 moves to beat me, and most of the time, like even if they have evenly matched, like I'll just leave that card. They can't get around it, and it's just a really good card for its slot. And then I play 1 copy of number 42 Galaxy Tomahawk. Sorry for the glare. It's just really good for making the token plays, and that's how I usually end with Firewall Proxy Dragon. Again, it's not as elaborate and as in depth with the link mechanic as other builds are, but it's more consistent, and it does it often, pretty frequently. So that's it for the extra deck. And then for the side, I had 2 Drolls in my side deck, going second against Spiral and Trickstar. I played 3 Shared Ride for a similar reason, but going first against those same decks. Every single time they search, you get a draw. I played 3 copies of Magical Spring. This card's excellent against decks like True Draco and Pendulums. It's just a better Marais Greed, so you just side up Marais Greed and Desires, and you just have a better draw card, and you discard card like Gund. It's really good. And then I play 2 copies of Prohibition for Spirals going first, and even Trickstars I'm testing with, because I'm pretty sure if you call Lycris, you pretty much win. But yeah, against Spirals, if you call Super Agent, you lock them out of Super Agent, Tough, and Double Helix. So that's 3 cards right there, you're shutting it down. I'm playing 2 copies of Eclipse just to put problematic cards face down. I think it's really efficient to put cards face down, attack over Megalo, cards like Crystal Wing, you know, cards like that, really good. And then 3 copies Mind Crush going first against Spirals, Trickstars. I side pretty hard for those decks because they're most represented at my locals, even though I played mostly ABC True Draco with that random locals I went to. But yeah, this is really good for its spot in the side deck. I would definitely stick with this side deck, honestly. It's pretty perfect. So anyway guys, yeah, that's my rendition of Mermails for the I think it's October 2017 format, but going into the January 2018 format, pretty much the same list. So anyway guys, yeah, comment down below what you guys think about the list, and subscribe to Joe Grizz's channel, subscribe to my channel, Dracobackpacksack22. It's just my dueling book name, so you could also contact me on dueling book, doesn't matter. So yeah guys, Mermail's best deck confirmed. See you guys later. Peace out.